this universe will be the first to tell you that you exist beyond this being, that you are greater than this aspect of this being that we call God. And we are infinite. We always have been. We always will be. We've never been born out of anything. We've just always existed. And our existence is absolutely eternal and infinite. Just amazing.
So that's interesting. There's a few different levels here to this, then, obviously, that we can talk about. I mean, the first one, if we zoom out to the bigger picture, and take that first, so to speak, how do we end up in this particular universe, then, George? Why are we here, I guess, in that sense?
Yeah, good question, because why we choose to go into each other's beingness, if you want to put it that way, is to learn. It's like when this being expressed itself as light, everybody went, if you think of ourselves, we're all on a universal level here, and we're all looking at each other as universes, right? And this being expressed itself in this manner, and we just went, wow, that's really cool. I want to learn how to do that too. So an aspect of ourselves then go inside that being. So a part of us has come inside this universe and merged on a particular level of this universe and merged with it and became one with it. And that's what we call the I am presence.
So we're not trapped in any way or got suckered in, so to speak, in that sense that we're...
No. We were all here of our own choosing.
Yeah.
And that's really important to grasp, because it's important for people to take responsibility and not give their power away. That was some kind of notion that we are fallen. And I mean, that notion in itself is right down towards the bottom and the bowels of this universe anyway. Those notions do not exist beyond that. So.
Yeah. So there, and if we zoom down further one level more to the microcosm, I guess, version of this, then, if we all come from somewhere else, if we look at this particular universe or even this galaxy, if we want to look at it even smaller, how do you think we came to Earth? If we came from different star systems or from different stars, does that mean that humanity overall as a species is an experiment, or have we come here to this particular planet for yet another reason of going deeper into the testing, so to speak, or the experience that we're having?
Yeah, I don't like the word experiment personally, because I think it kind of cheapens and devalues what's going on here. The reason we have come to Earth, I'll just preface that with the history of why we decided to come into the universe was to learn about this expression that we call light. And then when we came in at the higher end of this universe, we then worked our way down through the dimensions, all the levels. And what we did then was experience and exhaust all possibilities and outcome on each one of those levels. Because each one, what you do is you learn. Where you're learning, each experience that you have is a learning. And there are those of us who are coming to the point of wanting to graduate, because all possibilities and outcomes have been experienced by a great number of us, and we're about to become a creator of light ourselves. So it is, you go through this incredible process over eons and epochs of eras of time in each dimensional level of the universe. It's been an incredible, incredible journey. And we've come down through all these levels, and the largest one in physical size is what I call the fourth dimension, and you may have heard that term as well.
Yeah.
Now, the 4D paradigm is colossal. It has so many vibratory levels and octaves within it that beings see that structure itself as a universe, and it's not. It's just one dimensional level, but it's just so big. And we've come through all of that, and now we've come on into the galaxy, because the Milky Way galaxy is a fractal. It itself is the microcosm of the macrocosm. Hence the density of these realities we have here of our planet, our solar system, and the galaxy. It is more dense than any other galaxy. And what's happened is, because we have taken this massive journey of expansion down through the levels, and then especially the fourth dimension, we expanded immensely into the cosmos in such a big way. It's now time, if we are to become these creators of light, we need to bring all that separation, all that fragmentation. Now we need to start bringing it back towards oneness, back to reintegration, into harmony and balance. And so what happened was a galaxy was created, and it was created by the feminine aspect of this universe, what I call the divine mother or the divine feminine. And that's why it's called the Milky Way galaxy, because it's the nurturing of the mother's milk. And so each galaxy out there, billions of them, have now been compressed into a star system. And so the billions of star systems in this galaxy are actually fractals of galaxies out there. And the beings that came and incarnated into these star systems were the ambassadors and the way showers from galaxies out there. Mm-hmm. And they've come into this galaxy, and then what you do is you compress life into one galaxy. And so there's been many wars in the history of this galaxy because you're squeezing life and you're making everybody jostle for position in such a small contained space. And we're now on the road to compression. And then from there we went, the compression went to the Orion Nebula. And that's why we've got what's called, the Star Wars trilogy, and there is many literature. There is quite a bit of literature on this planet about the Orion Wars. It was, and Orion is an aspect of the male expression of this universe, and so we needed to go into that paradigm to then transmute all the differences in the male warring warrior energy. And that's the archetype of the hunter as well. So these underlying vibrational patterns actually facilitate what life's experiences are required in each of these realities. And then from there we came to this solar system, and then from the solar system to one planet. So you can see we've been funneled down onto this road to compression, back towards oneness, or you can call it a 0 point even, and into harmony. And therefore, we're going through the process now of turning inside out.
Did you get a sense of understanding when it comes to how this transition actually happens? Does that mean that life organically arose on the planet and the properties were adequately set up here for us to incarnate into human bodies, or how's the mechanics of this? Did you have any information about this, George?
Yeah, wonderful question. The way it came about was, first of all, the planet we are on is another, yet again, aspect of the feminine consciousness of this universe. And the reason for it is because it wants to show the way. It is facilitating this firsthand. So you've got this stepping down, different vibratory levels and aspects of the universal consciousness itself. And so we have the galactic level of its being, which is also known as Isis is another term in some of the cultures, for that level of feminine consciousness. Mart is another one. We then come down to, and then she steps down to Sirius. The Sirius system is another aspect of the feminine of this universe. And then it comes down to Mother Earth. So that is the stepping down of her consciousness. And then we're on this planetary body, which is now carrying us in our womb, and she's about to give birth to this new race of beings, or this whole planetary race of universal creators of light, which isn't the be all and end all. I'll get to that in a moment, which has to do with ascension. But we are going through this incredible process, and what was manifested here was herself as the planet. Okay, it's the foundation. But the actual physical human embodiment was created by the 4D galactic embodiments of the universal creator itself. Now, the reason for that is because the creator of this universe, just like if you were to think of yourself as a creator of a universe and you have beings inside of you, wouldn't you take responsibility? Wouldn't you show the way? Wouldn't you play a participatory role and be on all these different levels with these beings? I know I would. Mm-hmm. And it just makes sense that is a responsible way to go about producing life, creating life in all its different facets. And so you've got an expression of this universal consciousness on a galactic level. And those beings, male and female, came to this world, and they actually created this human form. And the reason it's called human is ancient word for for God is Hu. So it's human, and man actually means mind. So it's godly being of godly mind. And you have this generic form called human, and we have all the codes within us. And that means that absolutely any race from out there, whether it's a lion being or a grey or a mantis being or any kind of the humanoids out there. It doesn't matter, reptilian, dragon, it doesn't matter. We have all the codes in our bodies. So therefore, any race out there can then come and incarnate into human form and go through this final stage of the process.
Interesting. I want to talk a little bit about the physical level and the experience that we're having right now on this planet a little bit later, basically where we're going and so forth as well. But I want to touch a little bit more upon this idea of the fact of how we learn this experience that you mentioned. To me, it sounds like we've been kind of breaking up reality, I guess, in one sense, like a scientist in a lab is studying a molecule. It can teach us a lot about the smaller functions of things, obviously, but if we don't apply that knowledge, fractally to the bigger scale, we're losing out on the bigger picture, obviously, and where we're going. Is that where we have been in that sense? I mean, have we reached the lowest level at this point, or are we going to go further down into this fractal? And if not, where are we going next, George?
Yeah, now, first thing I'll preface that answer is that everybody's on their own individual journey. So there are those of us who began this journey eons ago, and there are more and more people awakening to this. They're beginning to remember within themselves that, hang on, why am I here? And I'm actually here to become something new, something much greater. And that people know, like myself, that we have come from these other realms, the 4D, the extraterrestrial realm, the path and the exploration of life via technology, and all these different aspects and expressions of life. We've been through all these processes and we've done all these processes. So now we've come to planet Earth to actually become something new, something that hasn't existed before for us. Now, there's only one being that has created this existence for itself. And we are now becoming as the being, and that is the universal creator. So this is actually the first planet where it's happening. So outside of this paradigm and outside of the paradigm of the extraterrestrial influences on Earth at this time, there is reality, okay? Because this is another big subject that I just sparked off here. But there is the reality of what's happening. And all the meetings that I've had with beings out there throughout my life, which I will call benevolent beings, have been preparing. Everybody out there knows on all the multitudes of the cosmos, all the different layers and levels of the universe, all the attention of all that life, most of it is focused right here on Earth right now. We are literally the greatest show in the universe, and it's not ego and it's not arrogance. It's just everybody's fascinated to see they're witnessing this process, which is fail-proof. It's not going to fail, okay? We're in linear time. I've experienced a bit of the future as well because the future's already happened. And so it really is an outcome which will be so positive for the beings that see it through. And there'll be other beings who are not actually here to finally go through this process. Some are here to experience the way things are now. And what they will do is they'll go off-world because that's their soul journey. They won't resonate with what I'm saying. They'll resonate, say, with ETs to want to go off-world and take a different path, a different journey. And they'll go to other planetary systems which are being set up as we speak, who will take the next cycles of life and the next set of processes for this journey to occur, for the outcome to be achieved.
So there's so many different points here I want to touch upon in that sense, but if we, I guess I'm struggling with this idea also how can something higher, if I can put it that way, arise from something lower, at least when it comes to the perspective of consciousness, much like the question of how can a human being arise from a monkey, and I'm not trying to downplay the monkeys here, I know, in that sense, but have we forgotten this knowledge, the previous levels that we've been through? Because to me it feels like we're kind of in this almost devolutionary, where we're going so far down into the experience that we're kind of forgetting the bigger picture, and at least for me personally, when I look around, I don't see huge enlightenment overall in